Good morning, everybody. It is another wonderful Sunday out here in beautiful Canada. Calgary is looking good. Winnipeg must be heating up. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have my man Alex here, and I am Malcolm in the middle. And this is Real Talk. And today we are going to talk about something legendary. No, not really. It's not legendary. It's all about taxes. It's all about how Canadians right now are suffering. And we're just trying to, have an open conversation about that and see how we can maybe mitigate certain things or how, like, Canadians can get ahead because right now it is difficult to get ahead. You know,
Well, let's
taxes is high,
yeah,
food is high, everything is high, 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 and
very
nobody's
high.
nobody's getting happy off of this kind of thing. It's not
But
that kind of high.
let's be clear though. I don't think it's just Canadians. I think it's people all over the world, right, that are suffering right now, and by and large because of taxes, but for a variety of reasons, and war as well, right? The war
Yeah.
is wreaking havoc on the world, and how we sit back and because honestly, to me, again, this is something that we by and large as society should protest against and get into stems like the truckers did to block this COVID nonsense that was going on some years back. Because I
Mhm.
still fully believe that had a huge impact on some of these crazy COVID laws being dropped, considering
Oh, absolutely.
for what it was,
Mhm.
and they only revolted because when it came time for them to get injected into their arms, they're like, we're not having it.
And so that's that. Yeah. At that time, I'm wondering when Canadians or Americans and anybody that is right now under a government that, like, and keep in mind, folks, we're not anti-government. We're just not happy with the way that they spend our money
Well,
and the
we're
way that
yeah,
we're
anti-stupidness.
taxed right
Well,
now.
yeah. Well, here, for example, the whole world is under lockdown because of this deadly COVID virus, right? Meanwhile, they have truckers going back and forth. Guess what? With COVID, it was so
Yeah.
dangerous, right? But they didn't think to make a mandatory for truckers till like almost 2 years into it.
Why? Because they're like, wait a second, we're missing out on a portion of Americans and Canadians that are
No, no,
paying
these are
into
people
this
that
thing
are
or to,
crossing the
like,
border. These are people that are
yeah,
going back
they're
and forth
going back and forth.
yeah. Meanwhile, they had the border
Yeah.
shut down, but these people, like
Mhm.
for regular folk, but these people were able to go back and forth without like any kind of s- COVID shots.
Well, we can appreciate that though. Like, I mean, I appreciate the fact that they continued to work because without them, we would have
No,
never
no,
had,
no, without a doubt. Yeah,
masks and
without a
foods
doubt.
and
But
stuff like
then, but
that.
yeah, so is that why? Was that why they had kid gloves on them then? You know what I mean? Like, were
Well,
they overlooked on
yeah.
purpose? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because like once they were pushed, they pushed back, and guess what? Okay, we're bad. No problem. No, 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 no. You don't. No more COVID's required, right?
Right.
That's what the
The
congested
government did
Ottawa
change their tune.
pretty
Yep.
fast, right? You
Mhm.
just you just you just turn off that economy tap a little bit, turn off that little tax collecting engine a little bit, and
Yeah.
okay, we're sorry.
They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
No, no, you're right. You're right. Go, go,
yeah.
do your thing. Yeah.
Or none of them, you're right. Whether you're right or wrong, okay, we'll stop because the money we're losing from you guys shutting down the economy is more important than is a bigger picture than because at the end of the day, that is the picture,
Of course.
or
Taxation
that's the
and
goal.
getting that freaking money.
Money,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, money. Make that money roll in. When that fought, like, I mean, I don't think people realize how much export and import that Canada does. And
Well,
that
see,
would be stifling for us, right?
and this is how my mind works, Malcolm. Is how I see that is whatever money they're pulling in or they're benefiting from, these COVID vaccines
Mhm.
wasn't enough to counter the money they'd be losing from the truckers stopping the economy.
I don't think you're wrong. I
No, dude,
really don't.
it's
They're
simple, it's
like,
simple math. It's simple math.
Mhm.
We're not going to jeopardize the economy, the funds that the economy is bringing in to, for example, we're not going to jeopardize bringing billions of dollars to make tens of millions of dollars extra, because before the economy was making money regardless of its COVID restrictions, right? Or the
Yes.
COVID shots. And the COVID restrictions was to force people to get these COVID shots, right? It's like let's put a headlock on them. You can't go out, you can't travel. They were even paying
Yep.
money, I think, at one time, or giving trips to get COVID shots or some shit.
No. Oh man. Remember the stupid the hotels, the quarantine hotels and stuff like that? How
Yeah,
much money did they make off of that? That
yeah.
must have been insane.
No, no, don't
Insane.
get me wrong. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to say COVID isn't real because it is very real. Um, but the thing I'm trying to say is the seriousness of it, right? Because COVID got a lot of credit for a lot of deaths with people with pre-existing conditions, and so yeah, I'm sure it didn't help it. And so I guess in that sense, it's kind of like an executive producer on a movie. You don't have to make the movie, but you'll get credit for just for funding the thing. So COVID just funds a lot of deaths. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It just sped up a lot of deaths,
Like,
right?
yeah, like it didn't make it, but it funded it.
Hmm.
It's,
Oh
it's
yeah,
how I kind of see it.
I could go
But
right. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, my daughter, caught COVID a few weeks ago, and she
Oh
is
yeah.
rarely sick, rarely sick. She's 17 years old, and she's gonna be 18 this June, and I think I could count on my hand the number of times she's been sick, and it's usually like for a day or two, and she's fine.
You're
But
just
she's
good to
been
go.
out for over 2 weeks, and she's still like not 100%. She's
Oh,
COVID.
that's rough.
She's tested positive, which is good. And she's had signs where it looks like she's coming back, but then all of a sudden she's like weak again, like just very drained again. So um
Gotcha.
it's but whether and she's got her shots with the
Mhm.
vaccines, and they claim that if you didn't it'd be worse. I don't know. I've never seen anything take my daughter down like this ever. So
That's
yeah,
insane. Really?
yeah, ever. Like she does not miss school. Like you have to basically kill her for her to miss school. And she missed over a week of school for this thing because of
Wow.
this thing.
So that's insane. See?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, right.
I'm
And
hoping she's gonna be okay. Is she on the mend now? Like, I mean, that's
yeah,
two and a
yeah, I mean
half
she
weeks, you
went,
said, right?
she wouldn't get, I mean she's not a mad or pill person. Like me and my son will take everything under the sun to get better. But she's yeah, we're the weak links when it comes to getting sick. It's just like, oh, I want to get better. I'm so sick.
Let me do it faster. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. I,
So,
I just like I'll avoid pills all I can, and then if I'm sick, I'm like, frig, no, it's time. I don't
yeah,
want
yeah,
this in my body. Get it done
yeah.
now. You know? Yeah.
Mhm. Um,
Oh,
but
and
yeah,
I
no,
almost forgot as it's what it was International's Women's Day. So
yes,
kudos to
yes,
your
yes,
your daughter for being a top soldier and stuff like that. Good for her. I want to celebrate all the women in our lives.
yes, amen,
Hail to my
amen.
mom, your
Yes,
your wife,
yes,
my wife, all the women
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
We can't do things without you.
amen,
Yes, we men are sissies when it comes to you guys getting sick. You guys are solid, unbelievable. Mothers, daughters, wives, you ladies are
amen,
amazing. Every one of
amen,
them.
amen,
Yes. And
amen.
maybe they're right. Would you think if more women were running governments, we would not be in this same predicament that we're in right now? Like, say for example, the heads of states for the majority of countries during COVID would have been women. Would we be in
No,
this
no,
state
no.
now?
I see.
It's a
I
hard thing to
disagree. No, I
to
disagree.
figure.
I did. No,
Yeah.
no, no. I disagree. Because what people are missing, or what you're missing in that notion, I feel, is there are women in
Mm.
politics, right? They may
There are.
not necessarily be leaders, but they have women in politics, and
Mm.
these same women in politics, back parties and support these parties. Hillary Clinton, for example, didn't become president, but she's been in politics, right?
Yeah.
She's been like, Pamela Harris, same thing, right? Oh, come on,
Mhm.
Kamala Harris, right? Same thing, for
Right.
example. And so, they may not be like the top dog, but they're still like right up there and still, part of that machine that is
Yeah.
corrupt. You know what I mean? And and
Yeah.
and 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 they're there to just and so for example, someone became a leader, probably one of them that's already there
That's
in that system,
that's true.
in that system. You know what I mean? And so
So
no,
further perpetuating the same crap that we're going through
exactly,
right now.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a good
It's
point.
just a playbook. It's just and we're the dummies. We are the dummies,
Yeah.
literally, right? Because in Canada, for example, MPs, Minister of Parliament, they just got to work 5 years and they get their fucking full pension. Whereas
Which
every other
is
idiot,
freaking crazy.
whereas every other idiot is gonna work 30 years now, and they're trying to get that extended. And they're actually not trying, they did from 65 to
Or,
67. Okay.
or no.
And then also they're clawing back the amounts, like their taxes, inflation is going up, but your pension payouts are getting
It's
smaller
going down. Hmm. Hmm.
so
Absolutely.
that they can
There was
prolong
a
trying to make so that they can prolong trying to abuse that money that they collected off you all those years that they're supposed to take care of you when you're retired.
yeah,
Sir,
they
did we
always
say
find
that?
a way to
Did we
yeah.
say that? Did we say that? Is that Irving from Family Matters, for sure? Was that, remember? Or was the the geeky
What
guy?
it was oh
Was it?
Uncle
Did we say that?
from
You know,
yeah,
the nerd is a nerd on that
yeah,
show. Remember?
yeah, yeah. Did I do that? Did we
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I
we
can't
didn't say
remember.
nothing.
I can't remember. Does it look after when you're retired?
You think you're gonna have money? Oh no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
Safety
Three
net?
hundred dollars
Oh.
a month. By living
Yeah.
off of that, Canada, you gotta love that.
But again, I don't know why it'd be surprising, because it's these same governments that send people to their deaths, or if they're lucky, because they're not, they might come back arms and legs amputated and PST, whatever PSTD or PS, whatever mental issue, like,
Yeah.
and a lot of them
What is
have a
that?
hard time readjusting. And I mean,
PTSD.
there's some government programs, but
Lacking
you hear horror stories of a lot of them being denied the support that they need after they come back from supporting the
war
country,
and
and
things like
and
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
what I mean. And so it was kind of comical to me seeing recently on the news how the Canadian military news is having a hard time getting enrollment, and I was thrilled by that, because it's like, no, fuck you, go fight your own fucking war. Like, seriously, you want to go create it, you go fight it. Let me see how you do, right?
And,
And here's
and
the
you know
powers might
what?
be. What's
Mhm.
that?
What
The
were-
problem is us. The problem is us, to be honest with you. If we keep supporting the bad habits, we keep letting them get away with these bad habits or things that doesn't help society as a whole. eh, You know, and it's great talking about it and putting it out there, but people need to actually like bond together and maybe shut down the economy, not all work for 2 days until there is a change, or either that, or we need to actually really storm the Capitol and have a civil war and say, what the fuck?
well, we could get the idiot that is the dragon's head, we'll call it, at the top to like really
Yeah.
get
No, no,
gone.
like, but listen to this. So this is how, to me, how evil this is, right? And don't get me wrong, like I would much prefer Joe Biden than a Trump, hands down. Okay. But here, they're talking about taxing the rich as if the rich is a problem and the problem is the government.
Yeah.
You
And
know
the
what I
way
mean?
they're using funds, right?
No,
Like they're
no, yeah. The way
irresponsible.
they're using funds and the way they're taxing us and the way they fuck up the economy, jack up inflation, and as if like taxing the rich is gonna fix the shit that they're still fucking the people, the lesser fortunate people. You know what I mean? Like, the rich is fine. You
Yeah,
can
they're
tax them
like,
all they want. They're not suffering. Okay, they're
no, they're
fine.
not suffering.
Okay.
And they also
And
found loopholes in which they put together,
yeah,
like, you know what I
yeah, you
mean?
just
So
tax them more,
the
they'll
bait,
fund, yeah, exactly. And so
yeah,
exactly the point. So you can sit there and flex and say how we're gonna tax the rich and make them pay their fair share. Fair share. How's that gonna benefit me?
yeah, it's not,
No, seriously, how's that gonna benefit
right?
me? And that sounds like a you problem. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally
like,
is.
like here are people like, oh yeah, they're gonna pay the fair share, they're gonna pay as much tax as me. Yay! Really? Fuck off.
Hey, really? Oh.
Yeah, they're gonna be as stupid as me. Yay!
Yes, I'm paying all my money to them. Yeah.
Yeah,
And what
they're gonna
was
be as
that
broke.
calculation that
They're gonna be as broke as me. They thought they got away from the fucking tax machine. Fuck.
yes, we got them now. We're all in it together. So we
Oh
can
bullshit!
suffer
No,
together, really.
no. I don't begrudge the rich at all. Let them build their bunkers because they work for it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Hey,
protect themselves from the stupidity of humanity. Mind you, some of the rich are behind uh, uh, eradicating humanity because uh, I kind of it's a selfish thing for sure, but they're more concerned about their bloodline and their well-being
family
and you
well-being.
know
Yeah.
and versus average Joe's consuming resources that could
You don't want to share that
jeopardize.
resource, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's just it's really what is it like Hunger Games or whatever? It's just so it's like everyone's in this game that nobody's even quite aware of, but we're like
Yeah.
we're just these little pieces in the fucking game that um
There's no win in sight,
you know
right? Like maybe
well it's
if
kind
they
of like
didn't change
it
the
feels
rules all the time,
well it feels like they kind of need us to kind of help support the system, but they don't need so much of us.
right? So that's why they wanted to squash some of us at the
Yeah,
same time,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Do you know what I mean? And here's where
Mhm.
to me something like COVID is perfect because it affected the elderly
Oh,
largely
like crazy.
more than
Yeah.
anyone else, right? And who's a drain on the system, or according to them, is the elderly that's collecting these pensions that they've worked all their years for. But if we eliminate them, we got to pay that money out.
You get to keep that money. It's just like, yes, claw
Exactly.
back. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. It's just like you paid in your whole entire life. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes.
And now
Sucker.
you're
Suckers.
dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Thank you. You don't know if is this CPP is not a tax or not a sorry. I um you can't assign a beneficiary to your CPP, can you? You know,
You can't say what?
can you assign a beneficiary to your CPP?
No.
Because certain
No.
pensions
No.
you
No.
can. I
No.
didn't think so.
No,
I think that
oh,
just gets
actually,
absorbed,
sorry. You know
right?
what? You can if you have minors, like minor children, that if you pass before they reach the age of 18, because they need to still eat somehow,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
But if they're over the age of 18, no.
yeah. So then that, like, literally, that money just goes.
Yeah, yeah. And I only know that from years ago at the bank, seeing some deposits for a family that one of the mother father passed away, and the kids were the CPP was
CPP, right?
redirected towards the kids. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
And I think military also gets, I think, but it's a different kind of pension, anyways. It's not like the Canadian pension plan, anyway.
Oh, is it okay?
So
Okay.
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
sure? I
I
think they
think
get the
because the
same thing.
no, I think military gets because they're a branch of the government. They get a like you can will or in assign a beneficiary. I think.
Oh,
You know what?
okay.
I'll look that up. Yeah,
No,
but
well,
it's. I don't think
they
it's
probably have a
CPP. It's
well,
a
the
different
military probably has
thing
a
anyway.
military pension fund for sure. They probably have a separate pension fund
Yeah,
for their loved ones. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm
No, for
thinking.
sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it's CPP that they can assign a beneficiary to still,
Yeah.
which is
Like
just funny. I am going to do the research on that though, because I really wonder. For example, if my mom passes away,
actually, you know,
which
let me
my
Google
mom,
that.
Yeah, CPPC. Can you assign a beneficiary? Assign a beneficiary to CPP. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Came up with Canadian Protection Plan. Senior benefit pension. To name a beneficiary, you must complete the naming or substitution of a beneficiary form. You may at any time change your designated beneficiary by completing something. Uh, Pension Center. So, under the Canada Pension Plan, survivor's pension can be paid to a person who, at the time of death, was the legal spouse or common law partner of the deceased. So that if I pass away, then I can um sign my wife as the beneficiary. That's what I read here. I don't think yeah, and I do believe you're correct. The children have to be 18 and under.
Yeah.
Oh no, no, they have to be 25 and under.
Okay, so they stretched out a bit.
But then what happens? Like, so for example, my mom has paid into the Canadian pension plan her whole entire life.
Yeah.
So when she passes away, where's that money go? Yeah, it just like the government just says, "Oh, thank you, bye, my money now.
Thanks for coming
You,
out.
it's your fault you lived too long." Do the happy dance. Oh yeah, she paid in forever. Freaking crazy.
And you know what? I'm trying to think what the CPP is percentage. What is the CPP percentage? Hold on.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because and not so much so CPP, but EI. This is a real story. Okay, when I remember after about 7 years of working at Scotiabank, I decided to, I kind of looked around and I felt I'd gone as high as I could within that organization at that point in time
Right.
because I was looking around and all the management for the most part were like older white men or white women, like in their six like 70s, 60s, at like
60s, 70s.
yeah, like up there.
Shaking.
And I was in my 20s at the time, right? Mid 20s, and I'm like, no, I don't want to wait till I'm that old to start making the kind of bread I want to be making, right? Which at the time was 80 to 100 grand because I was a loans officer that getting paid 40 grand a year, which was, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with that at the for 25-year-olds. And um but being who I am, always wanting more, right? When it comes to money, anyways, and always trying to like improve my position because I know you need like oxygen to stay ahead of that. I feel blessed that I've been
Inflation.
aware of that fact forever. It seems like ever since I was a child in terms of how important money is, because I've seen how uh, damaging it can be within even families from lack of it, for example, right? Never mind sort of like it's marriages, people split up over because of lack of it, and somebody within their own household abuse it or trying to take advantage of it or whatever it may be, right? Like it's just um eh, and so yeah, no, I've always worked hard to try to make sure it's you stay ahead of the curve in that way. But here's where I think people are so trusting in general in terms of they're just hoping everything will work out and they don't realize the system's not in their favor.
It's real. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The system really, the system that we support does not support us.
It's like a carnival game, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's an optical illusion. That ball, that hoop looks like it's big enough to accept that ball, but it's tiny.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
jump through this hoop? Maybe.
Yeah,
Oh, and to answer your question, for CPP right now, the level is 5.95%. So
but
on earnings,
per check, per
correct?
$1,
Yeah.
per $1, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so for example, so sorry, 5.95%.
5.95%. Yeah,
So
I
so
do
so
believe that
so if a person makes $4,000, no, sorry. So say if a person makes $40,000 a year, which is part of the average income in Canada, right? Times what? 5.95%.
2.95%. Yeah.
So that's about
And the
$2,380 every year for CPP alone, right? 2,380
it's
every
just
year.
by itself. Yeah,
So
yeah.
so for a 25-year career, that's 59,500 to CPP. So
The
you'd be
example they're
60
using is $68,000 and 68.5 as their example in this thing.
that you put into it
Mhm.
over your working career.
Like as in your earnings, um keeping in mind 3,500 at the beginning is exempt, and then the rest is well taxed or safe haven of basically 6% that the government will squirrel away. I thought there was a maximum amount though, because like I want to say,
And I think there is that they can take
oh
off your
yeah,
check.
yeah. Oh, sorry, I read this wrong. On so for 2024, the maximum pensionable earnings was 68.5. So that means that, if you make $120,000, your first 68,005 is taxed, or they deduct the pension at
Mm-hmm.
5.95%. And then after that, like, you make 69,000
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
plus,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
then you're no longer
It's the same
paying
amount.
anymore.
It's the same. Well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same amount. It's a flat rate at that point,
Across Canada. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
So, yeah. Which is kind of funny because, like, if you're earning $120,000, is that pension really going to help you? Like, if you're making $20,000 or you're making $30,000, and then later on you're needing to live off of that, it kind of makes more sense. I get why
Well,
they did it, because I mean it would
well,
be
and here's where
forever.
though too the flip side is the CPP money that the government's collecting, they're putting into pension funds and making money on it over time too, right?
Mhm.
So that money that they're collecting, the government's making money on it for a 25-year period. You know what I mean? And they're making money out
Because
of
most people don't
that
just
at
work
a
for 25 years, they work longer than 25
exactly,
years, right?
exactly.
So
And so 60,000 or whatever that people put in to that pension fund over their work period, um, invested, what is the actual cash value after 25 years,
it's probably like
right?
ridiculous. You don't see
Right.
that interest. You get that
So
that three
so
hundred
let me
dollars
see.
that they decide to pay you later on.
So here, let me ask you, let's ask Google. So let's just say 60,000. We'll round it up to 60,000 at that 5.95% based on $40,000 income. Okay. So so what is $60,000 at, we'll say, 4% interest worth after, we'll say, 25 years.
Oh, good point. With compounding interest and everything, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
Okay. So so according to Google, how much will 6K be worth in 30 years? And so if you're using an interest rate of 4.75%, which the government
Which
I would
is
assume should be able to get, because they control the rate, like,
rates and everything. Yeah.
that in 30 years would be worth $241,000 and 419 cents. Okay. If it's at 5.5%, it's 299,000. But let's just say 240,000. Let's use 240,000. So after 25 years, you're 65, and that money that you put in is worth 240,000. Okay, so $240,000, right? Divided by, we'll say 20 years. That's $12,000 per year.
That they've earned off of
No,
money.
That 241,000 that your money's grown to that you put into it, they made 241,000, or they should have if they've invested at 4.75%, right? So your 60,000 that you put in after 25 years should be worth at least 200 or over $200,000. But that $241,000, now what I'm trying to calculate is what the government is going to be paying you now that you're retired out of that.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just trying to do the math on how the government is ahead on this thing.
Yeah.
Right? But keep in mind the
Gotcha.
government, yeah. So keep in mind when you retire at 65, the government's only paying. You're not getting all that in a lump sum, right?
No,
So the government's still
you're
collecting
literally getting
interest. The government's still
$300.
collecting interest on the
Yeah.
241,000. You
Mhm.
follow? So
Yeah.
assuming when you retire 65, you live another 20, 25, 30 years. Realistically, maybe another 25 years to 80, 90,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Whatever.
So the government's going to collect interest on that 241,000 for another 25 years. So now instead of 60,000, it's 240 something thousand. So what's 240,000 over another 20 years? Well, so
No
let me
kidding,
check
right?
that out.
At the
Yeah,
4.7%, right? Oh my God, that's
yeah,
insane.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
While
so
only
to
chipping you off like a little bit of money, because I think
exactly,
CPP payments are only like,
exactly. It's not magic.
yeah,
It's simple math, right? And so what is 200,000 and for let's say now? How much? Okay, let's see here. So we say 4.75%,
4.75. Yeah.
and we'll say you live for another 25 years after 65, fair? This is
Mhm.
70,
Sure.
80, 90. That'd be living to 90, right? So the first 25 years of you working and paying into it, it grew to 240,000, right? Now you're retired, and now the government's paying you pension on average, what, 800? Because of CPP and old age pensions, it's usually about
Oh,
$1,200 a
right.
month,
Old age.
right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about $1,200 a
Somewhere there.
month. So times 10 or times 12, 12,000,
So it's,
14, about
yeah, it's
14,
like, yeah,
14,000 and change, right?
yeah, 14.4, I think it is. Yeah,
Okay.
144. I should have known that. Yeah.
No,
It's
what,
12
how
times
much? So
12,
no,
man.
this is very important. So 12, yeah,
Yeah,
12
yeah.
times
It's
12, what is it?
144.
140,
It's
so
14,400.
14,400. And a lot
Yeah,
aren't even
that they're
getting that. A
giving.
lot aren't getting that they're giving you back
No.
after 25 years. After 25 years, you don't get me wrong, you've only put in $60,000. Okay.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
I don't say only, but that's seed money, because that's seed money
Yeah.
after 50 years, right? That after
Yeah.
50 years, essentially, because that's taking you to 65, and hopefully you live another 25 years, right? And
Mhm.
so, and your money, and so the government's just spoon feeding you, or teaspoon, not even a tablespoon, but teaspoon, half a teaspoon.
Yeah.
But after
Yeah.
25 years,
Yeah.
the government at 4.75 would have made $765,000. $705. Okay. So now let's go
God.
765,000. So 765,000. We'll just say even, right? And how much we say 14.4? 14.4, right?
14,400.
So 14.4 times, wait, 14.4 times 25, $360,000. Okay. Okay. So 765,000. How much did I say? Turn what? 14.4
14
times
4, yeah.
25 years. Right. Assuming you live to 90, right? So that's $360,000. So that's 765,000 minus 360,000, right? I said.
Mhm.
So the government's up $405,000 on the money they took from you.
Oh my God. That's insanity, right?
That's good
And they give us
business.
none of it.
That's great business. Yeah, well, no, they give you some of it, right? Because we're
Yeah, they're like,
really,
here, here's a
really,
little carrot.
you're $60,000 investment because of the
Mm.
government managing it for you. If you live to 90, you get back 360,000, right? So really, you're up like about 300,000. Well, you're not
And
up.
that's
Well,
if you live to
like
whatever.
yeah, yeah. So really, when you look at it that way, it's not a bad investment. But why are you the one putting the money, but the government's making more than you?
Like they're,
Like no,
you
well,
know,
the government's cut is the government's cut is this. Huh. This is the government's cut. Yours is 360, and this is the government's cut after 50
it's
years.
management fee, my friend. That's totally
Oh,
legitimate.
oh, this is oh sorry, this is just a government's cut up until you die
Until
because
you
they're
die,
cut
yeah, no
because
doubt.
this is still gonna grow, right? Because it's still in their bank account.
That's right.
So
And not only that, like if you die beforehand, before even like in theory, what you've outlined is like a person actually taking benefit of that money.
yeah,
If you die, you get none of that benefit. It's gone. It's literally gone. How many Canadians have passed that never drew once on their CPP? There's probably tons, tons.
yeah,
Like it's absolutely criminal. Criminal. Canadians were working for criminals. We're literally doing this. Hear me,
yeah.
criminal.
And to be honest with you though, this the CPP in the old age is probably less the lesser of the evils in my opinion, because there's actual benefit, you know, even though the government benefits more so than you do, there's still, a bit of a rainbow at the end of the or pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. But it's not, is it enough? No, because a lot of seniors are having to work to supplement their old age and CPPs. So, you know what I mean? So
100%.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Or they
so
even need to draw on their own pensions from their actual work, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
things like that. Like you can't depend on that money. And then
No,
by the time you and I decide to like retire, we're not going to be able to depend on this money. That number
yeah.
is going to go down. It's not going to be, well, technically right now it says at 65 they will earn
Well,
1364
well, see,
60
the thing is
maxed
when you
out.
retire,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
That's a and here's what I think is so out of place in my opinion. It's because when you retire, you're not supposed to have a housing costs because hopefully your mortgage order is paid for. But the fact is, even if your mortgage is paid for, you still have housing expenses and property taxes or condo fees or rent or something. And my point is, in most cases, that's going to be just as much, if not more so, than your pension, even before groceries and everything else.
Oh, I know. My mom is living that fact. Like the pension that she ends up getting from the government, I should say,
Yeah,
not like whatever. It won't pay, like it'll pay the taxes on her house,
yeah,
maybe some heating bills, and then that's it. It's
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Boop,
Well, no, I mean,
you
same thing. Like with my mother, luckily, I'm fortunate to be able to supplement it. But if I wasn't able to supplement it, her meds alone are
Oh,
are 3 times more than the pension she's getting.
right? Like
And
I know, like
never mind
when
her rent and her and she's in Africa now, where cost of living is a little bit less expensive. Otherwise, like she couldn't afford to live here. She could barely afford to live in
right,
Africa where the expenses are less. Never mind living here,
Exactly. Like,
right?
it's insane
And that's all
how
she has. Like she's gonna be 80 this year, and she can, she definitely can't work. She's, she can barely walk, never mind work, for example. So even if she wanted
right.
to work to supplement her income, she couldn't. So like, what do
Yeah.
people like that do? Like, what do you do if you don't have a support system? What do you do? Like, really?
You're just screwed and kind of forgotten, really.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that support system, like you're saying, it's over. It
No, but
literally
that's
is.
where
Like it's
that
just
video,
waiting to
is so
die.
important. Yeah. Well, and that's where people
Mhm.
need to wake up, right? Because my mom, for example, out of my insurance, like, she's helped me a lot in life and taught me a lot in life and helped me a lot here when she was here. And, we've done some business back home, but also that business back home, we've, we've had some battles. Like she's probably been,
Mhm.
as much as she helped me, she's also been an obstacle because at times she didn't realize my sense of urgency in terms of trying to make money, like oxygen. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
And because now she's retired,
Mhm.
we've had some successes over there, some challenges over there, just like over here.
Mhm.
And every now and then she'll throw in, oh, things are tough, things are so expensive, and I said, yeah, well, mom, now you see why I was trying to get ahead of this treadmill. Like, I've always known things are not going to get cheaper. I've always known, as you want to slow down one time. You want to at some time be able to, not sometimes, almost always, but you can't stop and smell the roses when you're busy on this treadmill trying to keep food on the table, right? But the only way
Exactly.
to really do it is to bust a nut and fucking go hard and try to
Mhm.
break the chains. And the way you break those chains is making a disgusting amount of money that can, you can relax a little bit. And investing used to be one way to, help, and it still is if you're doing it
If you
right.
know the right thing,
But
yeah. Yeah.
but it's harder for the average person, right?
Oh, 100%.
Because the average person just getting fucking eaten up by bankers and trader fees and bank fees and you know gee, like like you talk about RSPs being bad, man, try a self-directed or something come when you try to pull out your money. Like they not only are you getting withholding tax, you're also paying like brokerage,
Brokerage fees and stuff.
oh
Yeah, I
it's just
know.
brutal. Just fucking brutal,
On that. Oh
right?
yeah. And they don't
Because I
tell you
remember
any of the loopholes and nothing.
yeah, because I remember one time, or one period I was retired. Like I had enough money to just be done when I was 40 years old. And but I started, I was always investing. I had invested in a couple of companies, and the money's supposed to come back as it should. So I had to start, rely on my RSPs to keep a roof over our heads and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And keep in mind, I had nothing coming in at the time because I wasn't working. Like I just
You
had my
retired.
savings,
Yeah,
right?
you're chilling.
And here's where we talk about the RSPs and that and yes, it's nice to have, but to me, my problem wasn't with withholding tax because that I expected. What I didn't expect was the fucking nonstop transaction fees for each and every, like that should add it up.
Right. For taking the money out. Is that
Yeah,
some shit? Like
every
to
fucking and
take,
so no, don't tell me Malcolm. And plus, there's a maximum amount you can take. You can't like take it all. You have to take it
oh,
out in
you can.
chunks. You have to take it out in chunks, and
That's how
and
they get you.
each chunk there's a charge. Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Because they're
So
like,
just
take this
yeah,
$100,000 out. Wait a
yeah,
second. You can only take it out. I think
exactly.
isn't it like 30 something or something like that? It's like it's not a small
No,
amount, but it's not a huge amount
no,
either.
no,
You know
no,
what I mean?
no. Here, how much? I think no, I think it's like 5,000 a month or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I was talking like the
Oh,
year.
oh,
I
sorry,
thought
no,
for the year, I think it's
oh,
like 36 or
well,
something like
the
that.
withholding tax. Well, here's the catch: the withholding tax goes up the more you take. Okay,
For real?
from the
I did
government,
not know
yeah.
this.
Oh
No
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
and it's proportionally higher than on your earning income during your working years. You follow? So the income that you're working to make that money that you're saving, yes, that's taxed, but your RSP money to me is disproportionately taxed when you're withdrawing it out. Okay, so hold on, because the government feels they didn't party on it when they let you put it away, even though they tax the income, even though they tax that income before you got your income to put it away. Okay,
Exactly. Oh,
okay, and
because I
so
mean,
and
you're
so and
taxed
so so
before
that
it even goes in.
yes, so,
Hmm.
so what what is withholding withholding tax withholding
Right.
tax on RSPs. So 10% on amounts up to 5,000. So that's
Oh,
500
okay.
bucks. Okay.
Mhm. It was disgusting. That
Okay.
hurts
Wait,
my.
wait, wait,
Oh
wait,
man.
wait, wait. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And so 5,000 bucks, whether it'll last you 1 month, 2 months. And so you can keep on taking out 5,000 bucks to last you however long it lasts you. And each
Right.
time the ding ding charge to for because somebody's gonna administer that withdrawal. So they charge each time.
Mhm.
On a month over 20% on a month over 5,000. 20% on a month over 5,000.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that here.
And
Hmm.
and 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 on a month over 15,000, 30%. 30%.
That's
So here,
insane.
yeah, so here you are retired. But here's the thing though, is hopefully you would have made enough money over that time in your RSPs
To
to
mitigate some of that.
offset the withholding taxes, like the interest monies that you would have made. But again, that's easier said than done because they're manipulating that interest too that you can make on your RSPs these days, right?
It's totally true.
And so 30% on a month over 15,000.
$4,500 minimum.
Yeah. So here you're
That's
retired. Yeah. And then on top
wow.
of it, depending, yeah. Um, yeah, it's just brutal. And so for example, if you're retired when you retire and say you're withdrawing $50,000 a year, the government's still taking
For
$15,000 from
tax.
you for taxes.
Yeah. But keep in mind that's also so folks keep in mind that's if you retire early. Like if you retire after what is it, 67 or something like that, then the
Yeah.
taxation it's not a withholding tax, it's just a tax at that time, which is stupid, but
Well,
it's
withholding
still
tax
right.
or tax is a tax. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's taxed
Right.
by a different name. Hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
give you your old tax. There you go. We're gonna tax the shit out of you. The crazy thing about that is too, like, I mean, it's unfortunate that you get taxed at that level as like Canadians outside of Quebec. But did you see the percentages for like Canadians that are Quebecers? That same 5,000, they're taxed. The withholding tax is 19%. At the 5,000 to 15,000 rate, it's at
Mm.
24%. That is criminal. So
Yeah.
that province is getting money like crazy. So rule of thumb, don't retire early and start drawing on your RSPs because you're going to hemorrhage money. It's disproportionately unfair though. Like really, they need to tax you $4,500 on $15,000 just because you decided you're going to take some of your money and live? That's insanity.
Well, here's where
Like, what did they do to earn $4,500? Like, really? Yes, we're going to take it. And then what's the bank fee on top of that?
well, what they do is
That's
they give you they what they
ridiculous.
do is they give you the privilege of being taxed.
Yes. Thank you. I've earned, I've earned this right to be raped over the
Yeah,
bowl. Like,
they give
really?
you the privilege of allowing them to take your money.
Yes. here you go, and sign your life away, basically. Ridiculous. What
They
privilege it
give you the
is to live in this
privilege.
country.
They give you the privilege of starving your family.
That's right. Well, you're hungry? Oh, I'm sorry. Doesn't
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Here-
wow, man,
Here's
that
more.
is
Here's
stupid.
more taxes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you can't afford stuff. You know what I feel like? It's almost like we're in the biggest um episode of Robin Hood. Where the hell is our Robin Hood to, like, go down and take down the sheriff of Nottingham, because this is ridiculous. People are going hungry and they're like, that carbon tax is just not high enough. Canadians, you just gotta buckle down, and we'll make it through. Don't worry, the budget will balance itself. Who says that? Unless you don't know economics or accounting. But our prime
Mhm.
minister said that the budgets will balance themselves. Which accountant have you ever heard has ever said that? Don't worry, Alex, spend as much as you want. The budget will balance itself. You'll be fine. This guy is running a country. Wow. That kind of logic. Well, I mean, I guess he's a drama teacher, so maybe that was a dramatic thing. Like maybe he had a dramatic pause when he said that. The budgets don't balance themselves. You see that delivery? As a Canadian, I could take it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous, though.
They are showmans, that's for sure though. Like
All day
like
long.
they do.
That's all they do. They're either magicians or dramatists, and that's it. How can I make Canadians' earnings disappear? Almost like
Right?
they're all in poverty. It's
Yeah.
almost like there's an attack on the middle class in North America right now. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
no, it's not all. No, it's not
you
almost.
can't be
There is. It's not almost. There is an
well,
attack.
okay. Well, allow me to rephrase that. There's an attack on the middle class right now in Canada.
Yeah.
So if you're either uber rich or you're broke ass broke, then in the middle they're like, we're gonna make you do one of the two things. You're gonna either sink or you're gonna swim. So we're gonna try to make you super rich, but not really. So we prefer that you're like dead broke. I wonder how they think this is going to help us. Like it makes no sense. But I guess our interest rate is gonna go down. Then
No,
more taxes coming.
but that's where they don't care about it helping us. They only care about helping them. You know what I mean?
Well, they do see the fact that, like, in what is it, 2026, a lot of people's mortgages were going to come due. And, like, that is
Hmm.
not something that the government is going to be able to stomach when, like, a staggering amount of people, like 80% of them, their mortgage renewal is coming due. And if the interest rates are where they are right now, nobody would be able to afford a house in this country, and
No.
that would really kill us. Like it's insane. I'm just shocked that he hasn't found a way, or the government hasn't found a way to like bring interest rates back to like when your mom and my mom came to this country, and like a house might have been $19,000, but it was like 30% interest rate. I'm shocked that he has not found a way to do that. Could you imagine paying 30% on a $600,000 house? Like, come on, man.
Hmm.
That's where he was like pushing us towards. What a buffoon. Baboon. We have a baboon
No,
in the office. Wait,
no,
that's disrespectful to baboons. My bad.
here's where though it's all relative, right? And this is what people
Mm,
forget is a relative
yeah.
in terms of economies, because at the time when interest rates were at 30%, housing was only like $50,000, right?
Yeah. Like I said,
And so,
19.
but
Yeah.
it's all relative because the bank was still collecting the same pound of flesh. But right now, and this is a magic part of it, is right now with
Yeah.
lower interest rates at 2-3% or whatever, 4% for mortgages, but that's on like
Mm,
$400,000-$500,000 or $1 million,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the banks are actually collecting more at the lower rate, and here's where people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy because the rates are so low." Well, no, they're not paying attention to pricing because your interest, the rates are lower, but your pricing is higher, so you're actually gonna pay more money, you dummy. But
It's
people
the
don't.
truth.
It's yeah, people don't think of that, right? They just like yeah, they make it low because the bank's still getting a pound of flesh and some.
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah,
So
and the
so
Bank of
no,
Canada
so
too.
this is so no, you do have a point in terms of the rates being way higher back then. But believe it or not, the banks are actually making more money because of the way the markets are and the way, you know, because the same banks, well, I mean, they kind of had, and they still kind of do have a non-arm's length CMHC, which is like the what is it, Canadian Mortgage Housing Corp, which kind of controls
CMHC, yeah, yeah, yeah.
or it's kind of like the kind of like the
It's the insurance.
the black book values of housing, right? Like it's
Right.
like they're the ones that the banks use to kind of set the you know determine the housing prices. You know, yeah, to use appraisals and all that kind of stuff, but the appraisals report to CMHC, and CMHC determines the risk factors for how much they're sure essentially, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then as an insurer, you don't want to undersure house, but that in is regards
You
to
want to mitigate risk as an insurer.
yeah,
That's the thing, right? Like you want to make it what's the word? They are a actuary at that point.
yeah.
So then they're figuring out, oh, okay, what is this? What's your stress test? I actually think they're the ones that came up with the stress test for, oh, we know that interest rates are going up because of homie. So what's your stress test? So like for myself, I think it was, myself and my wife, we had to afford 7%. And 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 that's like literally like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The reason why they're doing that stress test is like, can the Canadians take this extra interest on a deal? It's wild. It's wild, man.
No.
Oh, good old Canada.
Well, good
I
old world.
was
Excuse me. Yeah, go on.
I was thinking I have two guests that I'm thinking should definitely come on to Real Talk with us, and you know them very well. But I'm gonna keep it a secret for everybody else. But I know these twins will definitely definitely probably join because they always have something to say, and I love them both, and I know you know them well too.
Well,
So
well, if they're
and
if they're
anyways,
anything like their father, which I think their father's instilled a lot of his beliefs in them as he had instilled in me when I was a young man, and he had a lot of views and a lot of good views, and so I imagine the kids are
top
chipped off
notch,
the
man.
block, so to speak. Yeah.
And actually, one other one, like the youngest brother, he actually has a podcast. I can't remember what it's called. I will definitely put it in the comments. But I'm pretty sure he has a podcast for basketball related. I think, or
Okay,
maybe
okay,
it's
okay,
physiotherapy. I have no idea. But he would also be good to have on here too. So we should
okay.
definitely start rolling the guest train through.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
guys
no,
just
for
have to
sure.
come back from their respective trips and
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that.
no, for
But yeah,
sure.
that'll be sweet. Yeah, man. You should make that happen, brother. Right on.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I can reach out to them
this,
for sure.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely do that. So
Well,
today, it's been a real good, real talk with you and me, my brother. I can't wait till next Sunday. Maybe we'll start having to make this more frequent as well. So then, we can get all that content out there. And folks that are listening, please like, follow, subscribe, review, and let us know what you think. This has been Real Talk
keep it real.
too, brother.
We'll see you.
Take care, man.
All right.
Later.